Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make a little sketchbook. It's got 8 pages, the front cover, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can use the back page for a drawing, or you could write something on the back page. So you've just got a little sketchbook here that you can keep a record of some sketches that you do, perhaps over the holidays when you go out for your walks. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So you need just a piece of normal copy paper. If you've got bigger paper than this, it will work as well. But this size paper is fine. But you need to take care and take time with the folding. So match up your corners. Start to press in the middle and then move out to one side and move out to the other. And you have made your fold in that direction. So that's with your paper in landscape mode. And then turn round into portrait mode. Again, line up your corners carefully. Start in the middle, press down, and then go to that edge and that edge. So now you have got a horizontal and a diagonal fold. Now the next thing that you need to do, I'm going back to this fold. So with your paper in landscape mode, you take this side and fold it into the middle there. So line up those edges. Again, start your crease by pressing in the middle. Go to that side and that side. And then go here to the middle. Press in the middle, go to there and to there. So now you've got a little book, which is like this. So you could actually have that as a little book, but we're going to make it so it's like the one that I showed you in the beginning. So to do that, we need to open back up. So we've now got our piece of paper in portrait mode, and we're going to go back to that fold that we did in portrait. So in front of you, you should have 4 sections that way round. And you need some scissors, and you cut from there just to that middle section there. And stop. So your cut is there. If you open it up, you can see the cut is there across the middle. Now, if you put your paper like that, you go back to how it was that I showed you before we did the cut. So what you need to do is you take your paper, and where the cut pieces are, you pull from these edges like that and fold it into itself. Now what you'll find is that some of your original folds are the wrong way around, so you need to work on that. So this fold is kind of pointing up this way, and it needs to go in the opposite direction. So you push that down, push them all down, and you've made your little book with your 8 pages. Now what you'll see is that 2 of the pages kind of are a bit flappy like that. So you can kind of incorporate that into your book if you wanted. You could fold that up and have like a little secret place where you wrote something in there. But if you want to just have a very definite page, get a glue stick, put a dab in the corner and push it down. That page is fine because that's just a fold. And here again, put your dab in the corner, press it down, and you've made your little book. And then you can use this as a sketchbook. You can make more than one, have different sketches. And you can make it look a little bit more interesting. Here's one that I did, that I made look a little more interesting. I'm going to come up a bit so you can see. By putting some rubbings on the paper first. So it wasn't just a white background to draw onto that. I got some interesting things. This was a rubbing with a crayon on the bottom of my shoe. And this was on some wood. That bit there was on the edge of a fireplace. So if you wanted to do some rubbings on your paper before you fold it into a sketchbook, how you do that is you take your paper, take a crayon sideways, and just rub. So because this is wood, that gives quite an interesting effect. I could just do that on the whole of it. But you could do one section on the wood, and then you could go and find other things around your house to add textures onto your work. So I'll put another colour on there. So I've just made my paper a little bit more interesting before I then go in and fold it. So fold it, landscape, fold it, portrait. So I folded this one up like I did the original, and it just makes it, it just means that you're not looking at white paper. You've just got an interesting texture behind your work. So the next thing to do is to, when you go out for your walk, take some photos or get a grown-up to take some photos for you and look at things you find interesting. So this is something that I found interesting on my walk yesterday. And I know it's quite hard to see, but there was just a drop of water being held there. And I liked the fact the way these branches intertwined with each other. So that was a picture that I took. And this one was an interesting picture. Well, I thought it was interesting. And it's boot prints in the mud. And you can see all these different patterns and textures. And when you go out for your walk and you use your artist's eye, that means you look at something like an artist would. You notice interesting things that would be good for drawing. There was a 5-bar gate. Then I was very lucky. This is not, I didn't take this in my walk last week. This is something that I took a few months ago when I was out walking. And I spotted a heron in the bushes and I really liked that. This one is a dry stone wall. It's that way around, with grass growing at the bottom and moss on it. But I like all these different sort of bits in here, these dark bits, which just look really interesting. This was some flowers that we've got in the kitchen, so I just took a close-up of a flower, and I really like the way these petals fit together. And I liked this. I saw this on my walk yesterday, and it was a hole in a piece of bark that was growing, and I could see the trees behind. So I was going to draw this. I might not draw the whole thing. I might just start here and then do this shape and look at what is behind. So I've printed out my pictures. You don't need to. You can just look at them on the screen. So once you've got your interesting pictures that you want to draw, then get your sketchbook. Look at them, look at the design carefully and have a go at drawing. Now, when I was looking at the stuff that I had at home, I've got to draw with. I've got a normal pencil. This is just a normal school pencil, which is fine. I also found some drawing pencils that I had in a box, which some of you might have at home or your parents might have. Some soft drawing pencils, which are quite nice to draw with. Or you could use a biro, or you can use a black felt tip pen, whatever you want to. And then just take your time and look at the different images that you have collected with your artist eye and have a go at doing some drawing. So this is the picture that the sketch that I've made. So I haven't tried to copy it exactly as it is. I've just looked for interesting bits to fit in to my work. So I really like these circles here. I liked these squares there. I liked that pattern there. So that was done with the drawing pencils on the blank paper. But then I also had a go at just using the normal school pencil and do it on the paper where I'd already put a little bit of texture. So you can see the difference, how it looks. So I'm going to continue and just do a few more drawings, and then I'll come back and show you some of the things that I've done. So I've been working on filling my sketchbook with some ideas. This was the mud picture. This was the branches with the leaves and the water droplets. And this page was this, where I've just taken the top part and put some trees behind. And this one was the dry stone wall. This one was the flower. And now I'm just starting working on the heron. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about when you're sketching, what's the best way to do it. So start with just the side of your pencil and make very, very light marks until you get the shape that you want to. If you press hard, the line will be there forever. Even if you try to erase it, it won't come off. So just do it really lightly. So I've done like the shape of the head. I'm looking at the beak. And what you need to do when you're sketching something like this is you need to look at the thing that you're sketching. Not just draw it how you think it looks, but actually look. And then the back comes down here. Sometimes what's a good thing to do is if you follow the shape with your finger, that helps you to work out what the shape is. So that sort of comes down there like that. So I'm just doing this really, really lightly. And if I wanted to erase it, I could. But once I'm happy with the lines that I've got, then I can go over it much more. So basically that's the idea. Then I can work on that, building up these feather shapes. One of the things that I wanted to show you, when I did this, when you're doing something like this, you don't need to spend ages doing it. Just do a bit of scribble and you get the effect of the moss. And then if you've got more than one shade of green that you can colour with to do. So what I want you to do, I'll just do a quick reminder, is make yourself a little sketchbook following the instructions at the beginning of the video. You can make more than one if you want to. If you want your sketchbook to have some background colour in it, then find ways to add colour to your paper before folding it. And then whilst you're out and about on walks with your family, or even just in your garden, or even in your house, just take some photographs or ask a grown-up to take some photographs for you of things that you see with your artist's eye that you think are interesting. And then use the images from those photographs to draw in your little sketchbook. So I really hope you have fun doing that. You don't need to try and draw things exactly as they are. You can just take little bits of something that you've taken a photograph of, like I did with the mud, and follow the patterns. But it should be a fun thing for you to do. So sketchbook, photographs, and then drawing.